Let's go. Hamstrings and ankles. Okay, well, that about do it.
Can you describe for us what the process is like internally when you're trying to cut 37 players and you're probably trying to give each of them their due and guidance, how that whole process goes down and how hard that is?
Yeah, it's a long process, really. It's not just the last day and all that. It's a process of gathering information and a lot of conversation. Watching the film, going back at times, we go back and we look again to see some things that we needed to see to verify stuff. There's a number of opinions that are flying, and really John and I figure it out and make our choices, We've invested so much, and these guys have invested so much in it. It's a challenging process because we don't want to let anybody go. We like our team to stay as it is, but we don't get to do that. So what we do recognize, though, is the guys that have been with us that do have to go on cut day. They've made headway into this program. We know who they are. We know what they can do. We know where they fit and how they could help us down the road. And so, in essence, they've kind of filled out their resume for us, and shown us, how they may have a future. And I mean, every guy that's still here at this point could help us during the season in some fashion, and so or they wouldn't still be here. And so. They've done a lot of great work, and they've accomplished a great deal. Sometimes you just run out of numbers. You just can't fit them in.
What's that process like with the guys on the pro side who at the same time are trying to keep an eye on 31 other teams in that whole process?
Well, there's a lot going on at the same time, John. I mean, there's so many things happening. They're budgeting their time and they're budgeting their work, and they're responsible for all of the names in the league right now. So there's it doesn't just happen in the last week. It's been ongoing throughout. These guys have been working the board as soon as we could see guys on film, and way back 4 weeks ago. So, and we have evaluations done before too. So now we assess the evaluation based on what we had, and we see, do they match up? Are they better than we thought? Yeah, this guy's got what we thought he had. Just unfortunately we didn't have him, and so there's all kinds of stuff that goes into that. It's just a rigorous, ongoing project, and our guys have really done a great job. We know that we've won in this little segment here of opportunity a number of times. There's been some really good guys we've picked up here right at the end, and so we have to be open to that. It makes it just doubly hard because we like the guys we have, So, but that's what's happening.
How do you personally inform the guys you have to go?
They're contacted to come over, and then they touch base with all the right stations, and I like to talk to every guy. I remember the last time I got cut, and I remember how that went, and I remember what was said and the looks and the emotion of it and all that. And if it happens to be a guy's last time, I wanted to make it be something that meant something to him, and he understands the depth of it and the care and all that. Even though because it's kind of can be looked at as a real cold-hearted moment, but yeah, that's not what it is. But so do the best we can.
Can it be hard to get guys to understand that it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't play? There's just a lot of factors.
Well, yeah, it's just it depends how it hits them. But we have talked to these guys really since the time we started. That they're putting together their film and for a lot of teams, a lot of people, and I know Brian Snyder does a really good job early on when he has all of the guys in there in special teams to tell them that you have these opportunities to put the message out of what you're all about every chance you go, and we'll even talk about that. We've had so many guys that have come through here and they get let go and they wind up in other teams, and we do share those stories with them so they're aware of it to keep hope alive, really, so.
What is your assessment of the nickel cornerback spot right now and sort of where it is?
It's a competitive spot. Jay Taylor's done a nice job. It shows experience that he's played a lot of football and awareness and all that. Ugo's been pretty special at times, and he's shown a real top end to his play. Both the guys are really quick and kind of the same stature and size style of player. So we're looking for consistency and what we can count on, and as well as the productivity. Keem King has been in there too. He's a guy that also can play in there for situational stuff and different matchups and things like that. So we're really it's not completed yet. It's still going.
How has Phil Haynes been doing? I think you said it was a hernia thing.
Yeah, he had surgery for athletic hernia and hip flexor issues. he's not going to make it to be ready to play by the opener, but he's being a PUP guy, that's kind of how he has a chance to enter. But we really wish we could get a shot at him. There's some decisions to be made on that. He could be the PUP guy, one of the PUP guys going into the season. He could be on the roster. We really need him right now. With Mike being out, we could have really used him. He could have had a great opportunity in this camp, as Jordan Simmons could have too. And it's unfortunate those guys missed.
And Simmons, what's his story? How's he coming?
He's recovering, and he's going to miss it by about 3 weeks. Miss the start by about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. And so we'll figure out how we're going to handle that.
Do you expect to play DK in week 1?
Well, let's just wait and see how he does. I want to, and he wants to, and he's referred to himself as Wolverine. Like he's going to bounce back, and so maybe he can pull that off. And he's running today, right now. He's out there on the turf doing it, and so we'll see what happens. It's really just an assessment every day. He really feels pretty comfortable right now. He didn't have any swelling and all that, so that he doesn't have the hindrance that could have shown up. So it just depends on how he tolerates it.
You talked with the backup QB battle back at the beginning of camp about wanting to use every game.
We're still doing it.
It's been a little different than you wanted because injuries.
Right.
But what have you kind of seen out of those two? And how's
Well, they both had their moments, certainly, and they've basically taken care of the ball really well, which is an important factor, and they can both run the offense. So I'm really anxious to get another assessment here, particularly on Paxton. He's going to play in this game. And so those two guys and Gino will split it, and we'll see how they do, and maybe get a little work for JT.
Going back to DK, mentally, how is he doing?
He's remarkable. He's a very mature kid, very clear about the challenge of it, very clear about his intentions, his expectations. He's counting on playing. He's not even thinking of anything else. His mentality is excellent. It's really excellent. I mean, it's as good as it could be for a young kid, and he just continues to kind of surprise us in all ways. I just spent some time with him just coming off the field today. Had some questions for him about some other things, and he's just an impressive kid, and good background, and he's strong, and he knows what he wants to do. So I mean, all of that really bodes well for a guy. He's not thinking that he's not coming back. He's thinking he's going to be back and playing.
Yeah, Lily, you guys are having a pretty intense conversation,
No, we were just talking about home, So it wasn't anything related to football. We were having a great talk about home.
What do you think of Tedrick in the preseason?
Been really solid. I don't feel like our guys have been challenged much, on the back end. May happen this week. We'll see. But he's had a really solid camp. He's really in charge of stuff. He's working really good with Bradley, and we've got a competitive mix there. Leno is back and playing and in it. Unfortunately, like I said, Marquise has been a guy that hasn't had enough reps to really show how far he's come. But we all know that he's got some great potential there. Ugo's been back there too, so it's a good group. We'll see how it goes.
Will Marquise be able to play tomorrow?
Yes.
Coach, really competitive group of linebackers this year. What do you need to see out of Ben Kervin to kind of have him be in that role?
I would like to see him get comfortable with the scheme. He's playing Mike linebacker some of the time and controlling the calls and all that. Yeah, he feels comfortable doing that. Kind of gives him a clarity. I just want to see him play some more. He just battled his way back. He wasn't like 100% when he first came back, but he was good enough to play and practice and all that. And he's getting better. And so he plays really hard. He's really instinctive, and we just need to see what it looks like on the field. But he's made a good statement about that. He fits. We really trust him because of the bright way he goes about his business and all that. Special teams in particular, they're really fired up about him contributing.
You mentioned yesterday Shaquem Griffin would be able to play. His role, kind of the role you guys have talked about in the spring with him being a little more, is that still how you perceive him?
He's playing. Yeah, he's really featured as a sandbacker. He's featured outside, so we can get him on the edge. And that's a position that gets the pressure from the edge. It's not the kind of blitzing up into the line of scrimmage. He's looked good at that stuff because he's so darn fast, and been a little disruptive, with his knee being banged up a bit, but he's back and ready to go. This is an important game for him just to show kind of where he finishes off the preseason.
And Joey won't play with the ankle injury,
No,
right?
he won't be able to play.
Anybody else play center besides Ethan?
Marcus Martin. Yeah, matter of fact, Marcus is an interesting case. Marcus I think he has 29 starts or something like that, in the league as a center. So he's got good background. He's a real big body in there. I'm real anxious to see him play. I've been kind of on his butt all week to make this transition and take advantage of this opportunity with Joey being banged up. And so he's going to play a lot in this game.
John Ursua, it's easy for us or some fans to say he looks a little bit like Doug Baldwin the way he plays, but
15. Yeah.
yeah, that.
Right.
But do you see that like avoiding hits as soon as he catches the ball, moving, the things he does just style-wise? Not that he's ever was accomplished, but is there a similarity there when he?
Yeah, there is. The suddenness, Doug had such extraordinary quickness, in and out of his breaks. And John, and both these guys are both basketball guy background, and fantastic all-around athletes. And you can see it. The timing that John has displayed to avoid some of the hits and to make moves and stuff like that, you can see he's got a unique sense. And it showed up. We've really been fired up about John. And he's gotten better as we've gone. He's still... working at the installation in the notebook and all that stuff. He's got stuff that he's got to get over, but the natural talent is really there, and we love seeing that. It jumps out at you. So,
how much of a kick return candidate might he be? Are you still?
You'll see him a little bit this week if we're fortunate, if we get enough kicks. Yeah, I'm nice to see him too.
What have you thought of Jacob Hollister? We saw him a little bit in Alaska.
Yeah, Jake's been a real. He started really fast with us, where everybody was really excited. Then he missed some time, and a couple days to get back. Once he got out here, he just kind of knocking the rust off. But he has been a factor, and a receiving factor, getting him down the field and all. He's 4.5s, so he runs really fast, and it shows up. Catching ability is there, route running ability is there. He works really hard in his blocking. He's not the biggest guy, so he's got to really, put everything he can into it, but he does. And so he's a really good competitor, and he's smart, and he's done a lot of good stuff. So he's right in. He'll play again in this game. We want to see him again, So, but he's made a really good impression. He's different than the other guys, and again, I always like the variety, and he gives us some of that.
What have you thought of the work Michael Kendricks has done over the years?
Well, I'm pretty excited about Michael now. Again, I'm going to say the same old stuff, but I'm looking for stuff that guys do that other guys can't do, and he's unusual, an unusual player. He's his speed and explosion is displayed all the time when he's out there. His instincts are really he's got a real go for it attitude, and he's really confident, and that's why good players believe that what they're seeing is the truth, and they go for it. He is like that. We've put him in a new position for him. He's kind of writing the formula for that. It's okay. It's usually everybody coughs when that happens, but he's kind of writing the formula, for how to play the position, because he's not a typical size guy for an outside backer. But to have his agility and speed and instinct on the field, it's a real plus for us. And I love watching him play alongside with Bobby and KJ. I think that's a fantastic group of football players, and we're hoping that they're going to really be a standout part of this team and this defense.
How was he taken to the strong side?
He's done fine. No, he's done it. It was slow at first and unusual. And I just kept telling him, just feel it. He needs to feel what it feels like to play there, and it's going to take some time. And I've asked him a lot of questions about how he's going to play blocks and play situations and all, because I trust him. I trust that he'll figure it out if we give him enough turns, and we didn't want to overburden him with too much because of his unusual knack, and I wanted to see if it would emerge, and I think it's starting, and he'll improve during the early part of the season too. He's going to have some freedom, to make some plays and do some stuff, and I love that about what he adds.
How did Ziggy Ansah respond to being on the field?
Okay, it was okay yesterday. I want to see what it looks like today. A little sore, just in general, just getting the real football moves back going. He's going to stay here over the weekend. He's going to work through it and get one day of break, and then get right back at it and come back next week on Monday, and we're going. So we're counting on him making it through it until he can't. Is the way we're looking at it.
All your running backs available Thursday?
Everybody's up. Everybody's up. Everybody's up.
How's CJ get through the week?
He had a great week. He responded beautifully to the play last week. He's going to get a lot of play time. He deserves a lot of play time, and we need to see him, and he has to make up for some lost time. So, I've always really admired the range of ability that he brings, and I'm hoping that he can have a game again where he can show it and make it obvious that he belongs.
Barkevius Mingo, just kind of the pass rush and what he's done in these games.
He made real good progress early and been a little bit quiet in the games. Hasn't been as productive as we would have liked to have seen, but he's working really hard. He's a fantastic special teams player and a real leader in that group. And you know, we think a lot of what he brings to this team, and he's a special kid. He's got a great motor.
Did you see something from some of your receivers last night, given that David Moore's out for however long at the beginning of the year?
What was the first part of the question?
See something some of your receivers tomorrow night.
We need to see. We hope to see. You know, do we need to? I don't, you know, that doesn't mean much. It's what do they do? You know, it'd be really nice to see Gary and John. You know, get a lot of play time and Malik and those guys. So, I mean, everybody's got a shot to play in this game. Everybody's in the rotation. So, yeah, it is important. You know, it's I know enough about it right now that it's going to take those guys a while. You know, they're not fully up to speed. Both of them missed time. John and Gary, for instance, they both missed time. You know, and it's a harder position than you'd think. You know, there's so many intricacies to it. We've had young guys that it's taken them a while. It's rare when the young guys really play well early. I think DK is different than other guys that we brought in here. It just seems to come to him naturally, you know, and other guys just struggle a little bit more with the details and all. So we'll see what happens.
For a year, does that give them a little bit of an advantage?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It does because they're really well versed. I mean, they really know their stuff. They're great. They can play multiple positions. They can run all of the routes. They can do everything. So it does give them a real advantage and makes the decisions really challenging.
Anything else?
No, who said it needs to be easy though, right?